we're going to take a trip a little farther south and a lot warmer. We're going to go to Madagascar. It's more than just a movie. It's a real pleasure to be here today in the Earth Optimum Summit. Today, I'd like to share with you an optimistic tale from Madagascar, the fourth largest island in the world. An island isolated for 150 million years, an island that could reach from New Hampshire to Florida, filled with extraordinary plants and animals found nowhere else on Earth. The star orchid, the giraffe weevil, the painted frog, the comet moth, the wonderful lemurs. An island filled with contrasting habitats. The lush rainforest, the dry deciduous forest, the spiny desert, mangroves, magnificent. But the challenges are overwhelming. Madagascar is on the brink of extinction. 90% of the forests are gone. 94% of the lemurs are endangered, critically endangered, or vulnerable, more than any other mammal group on Earth. The people are economically poor, 10th poorest country on Earth, according to the World Bank. But I'm supposed to give you an optimistic talk. Because of hard work, innovative thinking, and science, we have good news and reason to celebrate. In the 25 years we conservation scientists have been working in Madagascar, we have signs of ongoing success. In the 1980s, when I arrived, there were 2 national parks. In 1990, we created the first countrywide environmental action plan. Now, with the work of many dedicated environmentalists, including the enlightened policy of the US government through USAID and the Malagasy government, we have 18 national parks and a National Park Service to manage and protect them. That's a sign of success. Since the creation of Ranamafan National Park in 1991, the 3rd largest park in Madagascar, its boundaries have been maintained. That's a sign of success. Before the creation of the park, selectively logged sites made a quarter of the area look tattered and torn. Many birds and primates responded by retreating deep into the interior. The logged sites were damaged. Since the creation of the park, and thanks to the protection it conveys, the forest is now recovering its voice. This year, the rare and furtive scaly ground roller came back and nested. This year, the black and white rough lemur gave the thumbs up to the log sites and reestablished territories and raised offspring. This year, we found out that the critically endangered golden bamboo lemur has doubled its population size. In other words, the forest took 25 years to recover, but it can recover. We didn't know that before. That's a sign of success. We have the protected area forest, but what about the 90% that has been lost? So much of the island of Madagascar is destroyed, burned every year until the seed bank is gone, grazed and eroded until the soil seemed dead. Botanists told us that the endemic trees could never grow again on those soils. What could be done? The situation was so dire. How can we reverse this situation? Could restoration be the answer? Two decades ago, we had planted 1,000 endemic trees from 25 species, and contrary to expectations, those trees flourished. They grew well. They grew much quicker than we'd ever dreamed. Nobody would have predicted that. And nobody would have predicted that the secret to seedling success is that those seeds were defecated by lemurs. Or as my 10-year-old grandson would say, pooped out of lemurs. And now, 20 years later, the trees are fruiting and flowering, and the animals are coming back into this planted forest. Birds and chameleons and tenrecs. No lemurs yet, but I think they will come. This is a sign of success. So what does this study mean? It means that we can take back that 90% of deforested wasteland, that land that neither people nor wildlife can live on. And we will grow high-value crops under those endemic trees that we plant. Vanilla, have you bought vanilla lately? Whoa, prices are high. And wild pepper, we have some of the best in the world in Ramadan National Park and outside. And cinnamon and chocolate. All these products can be marketed for high prices. We will take back that land and make it productive again, doubling or tripling the value. But it's just not the wildlife and the forest. The lives of the people living around the park has improved. The fact that we've renovated over 35 schools in communities around Ramadan National Park. We have taught classes in critical thinking and participatory science and molecular biology in those schools, in a country in which 60% of students don't graduate from 5th grade. This is impressive. More children in this region are graduating from high school, and over a handful have received university degrees. And we're reaching out to more schools. We're doubling the schools next year. That is a sign of success. Our beloved health team walks to nearly 50 villages, bringing medicines and basic health lessons to distant areas. We have drones bringing medicines to remote villages that would take a 2-day walk to reach. Those drones are saving lives. And we encouraged a new health NGO to come to the region. They have worked with the Ministry of Health to renovate the district hospitals and bring ambulances and renovate 7 basic clinics and bring health to these distant people. Our health agenda is interdisciplinary and integrated, including ecology, natural resource management, vectors, and the relationship between the health of domesticated animals, wildlife, and village residents. With a staff of over 100 locally trained people and some generous donors, including the U.S. National Science Foundation, we have established Centro Valbio, a world-class field station and campus surrounded by the rainforest. This science hub integrates biodiversity and environmental research with social outreach, including even the environmental arts. We have the modern facilities and equipment to do sophisticated genetics and infectious disease analysis. We provide tools and training and even fiber optic internet, the fastest in the region. International and Malagasy students and professors can do science right next to the forest. It was a challenging project, but we accomplished this feat in 2014, and we're going to expand the research center this year, thanks to IUCN. We are enabling Malagasy scientists to be able to do sophisticated modern science right in their own country, and that is a huge sign of success. And what about the research? What have we learned? We have discovered 2 new species of lemurs and rediscovered 2 we thought were extinct. Thanks to molecular biology, we discovered more than 30 new species of frogs. So now Ranamafonda National Park contains more species of frogs than any other rainforest in the world. And spiders? Thanks to Sarah Carrico, I have a new species named after me. And even leeches. Scientists discovered a new species of leech in Ranamafonda National Park. And scientific research found that lemurs are very talented. We have bamboo lemurs that eat cyanide, enough cyanide to kill you if you ate one bite. But the bamboo lemurs eat this poison all year round with no known negative effect. We are on the verge of understanding how they tolerate all that daily cyanide. Through the study of aging in both captivity and the wild, we have learned that most lemurs can live over 30 years in both the wild and in captivity. Wild elderly individuals show no signs of old age, like no arthritis, no graying, no cataracts, and no Alzheimer's, no diabetes. But lemurs in captivity can get all of those problems as they age. How do those wild lemurs avoid those problems of old age? We hope to have the answer soon. We're still working on that. Our scientific research showed that some lemurs double their weights every year and then hibernate for 5 or 6 months and come out of the ground skinny. Every year they do that. Quite a trick. Imagine if humans would double their weight every year and then get thin again. And then go back to doubling their weight again. And social behavior? First of all, we have learned that lemurs are all about girl power. Females lead the group, sit where they want, and take the best food. They have even come up with a daycare system. Black and white rough lemurs give birth to twins and triplets and employ a daycare system where some males and some adult females take care of the infants, while all the mothers go off for hours to feed, much like most of us do these days. No other non-human primates have a daycare system. Lemurs are very talented and have a lot to teach us. And tourism. That first year of the park, we had no tourists at all. But things have changed. Tourism has increased steadily over the years. And last year, there were 30,000 tourists came to Ranamafonda National Park. That can start to change an economy. In 1991, there was 1 tourist hotel, and now there are 32. Cottage industries have developed, like the Women's Weaving Group, and the basket weavers and the blacksmiths, who all make a good living from selling to tourists and researchers. Yes, we have made much progress in these 25 years by staying the course, whether there is political upheaval or not. Scientific inquiry and grants should not be political. We never give up on conservation. Conservation is long-term, not a 5-year or even a 10-year project. We have been successful by training local residents and university students, by listening to what the communities want rather than what we think is best, by working through problems together and discussing the challenges to find solutions together, by working from the ministerial level, the regional level, the local level, the international level at the same time, by celebrating and laughing and dancing together, and by not giving up on science. Because as one of our most important biologically diverse ecosystems, Madagascar offers researchers a wealth of knowledge about evolution and adaptation, medicinal plants and disease, universal concerns that could inform, impact generations to come. Madagascar is a treasure we can't let disappear into the jaws of extinction. Because science does matter, and we must protect our planet. Our discoveries do matter, and we must have our voice heard. We have begun to make progress to save both people and wildlife together, but this is just the beginning. There are endless possibilities of scientific knowledge and research. They all matter and impact our daily lives. We can make our planet a better place, but we can't do it alone. We need you to help. We need you to help. We have hundreds of organizations and hundreds of researchers and students working together to make this project successful. Yes, science matters, and yes, community matters. We must band together, and all of us work together, and that includes you. Thank you all for listening to us today, and thank Madagascar for agreeing with us that we should save those protected areas. Thank you very much.